back, everybody, to Kev and Prach on Earth, where we are definitely diving into some Earth conversation, y'all. And so, you know who I am, and this is my beautiful co-host, Prach on Earth. Go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit for the people that don't know you.
Hey guys, I'm Prach on Earth. I hope to inspire people to care more about the Earth by sharing my self-development journey. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Prach on Earth.
There you go. All right, so to begin, welcome to the stage of history. I am your illustrious host, Kevin Uncanny Anytime. And today we're going to talk about social harmony, y'all. Social harmony. And we were kind of talking in the background here about some different things that were going on. And we'll definitely touch on that as far as just how we are living in, especially in the United States, y'all. So if it's people that's watching outside the country, um, here in the United States, we're pretty good, and we're very fortunate. And people like us, we want to use that good fortune to be able to help people, and so that's why we're drawing attention to different things that are happening in the earth and the climate and things like that, because we want to draw more eyes to different needs that need to be addressed, right? So yeah, first, Prash, you just wanted to cover a little bit of what we were talking about last time. We wanted to just kind of correct a little bit. We all make mistakes, y'all, so
Yeah,
it's all good. But we
yeah.
just
I
wanted to
wanted
kind of
to, I
throw
wanted to
some
correct
correction out
myself.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So we were mentioning the En-ROADS simulation in one of our last podcasts, and I was just going off the top of my head. I said that by the year 2100, it was expected to be 6.5 degrees Celsius, and then we went and converted that into Fahrenheit. However, in actuality, the number is 3.6 degrees Celsius is our business as usual um, level of warming by the year 2100, and that equates to 6.5 degrees Fahrenheit. And I did a little bit of digging to figure out why Google was showing us like a lot higher number. And that's just because the history of thermometers, it was calibrated to the freezing point of water so that it could be 0 degrees Celsius or 0 degrees Fahrenheit and 32 degrees Celsius. So it's actually 3.6 degrees Celsius, and yeah, multiply that by 1.8, and it's 6.5 degrees Fahrenheit. I just wanted to correct myself.
Got you. And for those of you that have no idea what we're talking about right now, you have to watch the previous video to kind of understand what we were talking about. But other than that, there's a couple things that we wanted to cover. One was some just a regular kind of a topic of loneliness, right? And how that plays a part in social harmony and stuff like that. And you know, going into the realm of self-development specifically, it can be a pretty lonely place when you're really working on yourself. And that is actually, it's twofold, right? Because on one end it's lonely because you're trying to block and focus, right? You're trying to block and focus and do the best you can with everything that you got going on. But in another realm is and you actually touched on this in one of your TikToks, Praj, is that you get to this level though of what awareness to where you cannot relate to people anymore. And I really felt that. I was like, man, yeah, because i'm I'm like a very go as hard as you can and be the greatest and do the best you can with what you got. And sometimes you can work so incredibly hard on yourself and your thinking and things like that, that you just go into a different realm and people just cannot relate to you. And I've actually personally experienced that a few times in this journey. And so I was just like, oh man, I totally get that. And you were like, I kind of want to let this process take its place. And I highly recommend that, because it is a gradual process. You don't want to just jump super far too far, because then you're unrelatable, like, and then you can't relate to people and you get kind of antisocial. It's like where I didn't want to talk to people at all, which creates more loneliness. So there you go. You put yourself in a loop. But other than that, what did you have? Because I know we got a lot of notes we wanted to cover, but what did you have that was the reason why you introduced this?
Well, I kind of feel like it's not something that just a few people are going through. Like it's something that collectively everyone is kind of experiencing. And I wanted to relate that to how every single human is emitting a certain frequency and vibration because we're all atoms. And it kind of ties into how we perceive the world, how we're feeling, and how things are going. So I think it, like you said, like being antisocial and like closing yourself off from like other humans, it's good for some time. I mean, you know, we need our personal time to self-develop, but
Mm-hmm.
especially for me too, I think it's like a lot better to get out and interact and have some positive experiences with people whenever I get the chance, because it would also like like raise my vibrations, and it leaves a positive impact on other people.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah. So with that being said, right, we are gonna kind of transition into the things that we say to ourselves, because when you get lonely and you just have your own thoughts and your own you're just to yourself, then that's when you really get to know who you are, right? And that's part of what we're learning in the Mindset Matters Institute is who are we, you know? And a lot of people are really afraid to be alone. And they really don't like it and they run from it. And when they get into a lonely state, it can easily toss them into like depression and anxiety and a lot of negative vibrations, right? So what we want to do is we want to think about how we're communicating with ourselves. It's interesting too, because, and I hope she don't mind, but I was just talking to Marvella, that's in the academy, and she, or in the institute, and she said we were talking about the recaps, and it's funny because going through the process of the when I was in an academy, going through a recap process where we have to fill out some homework and then post it into the institute. um I found that that was just hard alone. And it seems like it's really easy, but I'm like, just to remember to go in and actually do the copy and paste of my answers and put it into this space was difficult. And so I decided to break down all the way. Okay, I'm just gonna focus just on that. How about that? There's a lot of stuff that is in the program and that you can do, but you might just want to start there, right? Let's just start with the most basic, easy thing to build the consistency muscle, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about building the consistency muscle. But this all plays a part in the loneliness because when you're talking to yourself, sometimes you'll be like, nah, screw that. I'm not doing that because of whatever reason. And why? That was my thing. I was like, why am I fighting myself? There's nobody else that I'm having an issue with doing this with. I'm not afraid to post my answers up or anything like that. It's just literally just a feeling internally. And so I was like, what the heck? So I think giving yourself a positive, let's do this because it's going to help you. Talking to yourself in a positive way can help overturn that. And you got the water experiment because, like I said, how you speak to yourself and others matters. So go ahead and talk a little bit about why you put that there.
Well, I think I put that there because it's just like a physical representation of what is actually going on. So even if we try to like push it aside, which I've tried to like push it aside, be like, oh no, it's okay to be like super hard on myself and not like say anything nice to myself. You know, when I get in those moods, then I like try to remind myself that we are 70% water. Like I think it's 70 or 75% water. Like we're mostly water, and so is the rest of the planet. So like if we're talking to ourselves nicely, we're also emitting a positive vibration that is like spreading out to wherever our presence lands. So I feel like I kind of want to tie that into how I'm going to add the Hollywood thing.
Oh, go ahead.
But I kind of want to add that to how like we watch movies that are kind of dystopian, that are very like, you know, in the future, and like it's not a very it induces fear, and it makes us like kind of internalize that as our future. Um, and I believe a lot of the movies that we watch that we like to like hype up are generally based around that. And even like things I've watched like the 100 and stuff, like, and I get like really into it, but then when I really come down to it, then I'm like, I don't want to accidentally manifest this, because we are
Right.
manifesting all the time. It's just
Yeah.
whatever vibrations we're emitting. So if we are as a collective like hyping up all these movies and like watching them and then internalizing this state of fear for the future, then how are we supposed to focus on this present moment and like realize all the things that there are to do, all the things that there are to save in the present moment?
Yeah, and you here, I'm gonna share my screen. You sent a couple of visuals here. So I'm gonna share that with you guys so you can kind of see. This is what Prach sent me here. And so what's going on here? Why can I not share my screen? What's going on? Let me see here. What is going on? Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. No, let's. Oh, there we go. Okay, it wasn't selected. Sorry about that, y'all. Here we go. I've been using this system. I don't know how to use it all of a sudden. Okay, so boom, here we go. Right here. What's this? Why did you put this up here, Pratch? Let them
So
know.
that is the water experiment by Dr. Emoto. Pretty famous. I'm sure people have heard of it. So I really liked when you practiced this in one of our guided meditations, and you had us like have a glass of water in front of us and like put our intention into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I like to do this practice of like speaking to my water, and saying I love you before, and like actually like feeling it and meaning it before I drink the water. And so all these on here are showing the actual structure of H2O, and it's showing how it reacts in response to certain words, and words carry energy, which is vibrations, and this is how atoms react to it. So when you say like thank you and truth, eternal, I love you, like peace, all of these positive affirmations, the water is in a beautiful crystalline structure. And then there is also one there, it says like evil and stuff like that. So clearly the water is like not, it's not in the beautiful structure that it is in with all the positive words. But what I found interesting is the polluted water before prayer. In like the last two, the polluted water before prayer and the polluted water after prayer. So
Hmm.
like that was actually proven that you can pray to water, like you can put your positive intentions into it, and then it can basically like revive itself. So to relate that to like self-development is like if you feel like you're really down in a rut, or you feel like you're really like in a place where you don't think there's any going up, which I've personally been there before, you just have
Hmm.
to remember that whatever intentions you're setting to yourself, whatever you're speaking to yourself, you can always turn it around, and you can always look for the positive in things.
Yeah, this is really good. And I mean, when you look at it, you gotta wonder like what is going on here. I get so fascinated with stuff like this because I'm like, what? Like this is like sci-fi stuff that we see in movies that we don't think is real, right? It's like is this real or not? You really got to ask yourself that. And you have to ask internally and be like, do I really believe that this happens? And I don't know, if you could, I mean, get a microscope, see if you can see it yourself, and really test it out. But I am a firm believer that these things are true. And when you look at the definition and the way, the formation of it, like, that's interesting, right? Because what makes something good to look at, what makes something beautiful to look at, like, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. What makes Pratch so gorgeous, it's like, it's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down, because it's like, what really is that we as human beings look at something and say, oh, that looks appealing, or that's attractive. Like, this is just very interesting. So these structures that are created through what we're saying, and how it appears to us, because this just doesn't, you look at it, it says "you fool," it just doesn't appear, it's not appealing, right, to look at. It's interesting. Evil, it's like, that's kind of weird, it's kind of scary looking. The polluted water, it's like, it's kind of scary, as you make me sick, it's like, it's not any shape or form or anything like that. So it really makes you think about what we were talking about, especially in moments of loneliness, when you are by yourself. What are you really saying? Really, really pay attention to that. How do you speak to yourself? And like Prash said, which is really, really good, you can turn a negative situation around all the time, all the time. So that's something really, really key to pay attention to. But you have some other diagrams on here that I'm sorry, I should have downloaded them, but that
Oh,
way
you're
we can
fine.
look at it a little better. But what is up with this? What we got here?
Well, I do want to say that I also want to prove that water experiment.
Oh,
So I'm gonna make a little homework assignment for myself and come back to you next week with it.
ooh,
But
there
I
you
think that would be
go.
really cool to see. Like I'll speak like good
You got
intentions into one glass, and then like I'll speak ill words into the other, and
right.
see see how it is. So yeah,
Oh,
let's look on that.
oh man,
Um,
and you got I think I said telescope, but you got a you got a microscope.
I don't have a microscope, unfortunately, but I could actually probably look into someone who has access to it.
Got you,
So I
got you.
could do
That's
that.
what's up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the emotional guidance scale. So this is still on the topic of what we're talking about, the different vibrations.
Hmm.
So like lower frequencies, which are around, I believe all of this, yeah, all of this is in hertz. So like in one of the pictures, I think it's in the one above this. Um, like 20 hertz is like shame, and then you like go up, like going up the emotion frequency, shame, guilt, apathy, grief, and fear, which is something that a lot of people experience, is still at a low vibration at 100 hertz. um, then it goes up through a few more things: desire, anger, pride, courage. Neutrality is at 250, and willingness and acceptance. Then reason is at 400. My favorite one is like, I like to listen to 528 hertz, and
Hmm.
around like 500 is love, which is the
There we
frequency
go.
of love. Um, and I think the fastest way to get yourself into a higher vibration is to just like listen to frequency music. So like intentionally just looking up like 500 hertz or whatever, and or 528 hertz or whatever, and like intentionally listening to those frequencies has actually, I remember when I first started doing it, it was like sometime last year, like I was having like miracles were literally happening, like things that have never
Mm,
happened to me before were happening.
wow.
Yeah, and it happened all within like the span of a week. Like I got my first job, like I like met someone that gave me like a free photo shoot. Like it was just, everything was happening. It was crazy.
Oh, that's
So
what's
for
up.
anyone watching, I recommend trying that out. Like try out listening to frequency music. Um, I don't know if you want to say something about the emotional guidance scale, the one with the upward spiral, downward spiral. I kind of just added in
Oh.
there to indicate that, you know, it's not really on like a straight up and down level. Like it can, like, you can either spiral upward or you can spiral downward, and it's very easy to do both.
Yeah. The man, and that's funny. It's like, look at what's man. I hope you hear. Let me open this up, because I would hope that everybody can actually see what's going on here. Because this is important. Um, yeah, this is tripped out, because right at the top is boredom. Right at the top is boredom. So that's where it kicks you off right away. If you are in boredom, you're headed towards a bad spot. You're headed towards a bad spot. But dang, no, I don't know where I'll just put it. All right.
Yeah, I definitely.
Let me see here. My bad. All right. We're really loose on this, guys. All right. So bear with me on this, y'all. This is how I operate. Okay. So let me just put that here. And then I'm letting y'all see my desktop and everything. Don't hack me, y'all. Okay. Don't hack me. All right. So, yep. Don't know where it went, but oh, there it is. All right. Perfect. So you'll be able to see a better, hopefully you guys can see it's much larger this time.
Awesome.
Um,
Thanks for doing that, Kevin.
yeah. All right. Boredom, pessimism. I don't even know. Let me look up what pessimism means. I don't even actually know what that means. I've heard it a lot of times, like pessimistic and optimistic, but I really don't know. Let's get a correct definition of pessimism. Let's see. Pessimism. Pessimistic. Okay. So, tending to see the worst aspect of things or believe that the worst will happen. Wow, there's a lot of people out here like that.
Also says a lack of hope or confidence in the future.
Wow. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Interesting. And that's right along the path of going down. Um, dang, then frustration, irritation, impatience. I was in this realm a little bit last few days, to be honest with you. Not It wasn't the boredom, it was the overwhelmment and the
Mhm.
frustration of trying to do all these things, right? And trying to take care of my family and stuff like that. It was very, but then that trickles you down into disappointment and doubt and worry, and then you start blaming stuff. And man, this is a very interesting scale. You want to be careful with this, y'all, because this is how it leads you down the path. And man, top one, boredom. That is,
Yeah, that's
gotta
interesting.
stay productive. You gotta
Yeah.
stay busy out here.
I guess that goes to show that we are meant to like be on this planet to create things, like whatever makes us feel alive.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I can't see the bottom. I'm trying to see the bottom. This is in the way. I don't know why this
Oh,
is in the way. Oh, there we go. Okay, so all right, so you got contentment. Contentment right there is the beginning. So when you're content with the things that you have, then you can start feeling hopeful. All right, then you start feeling optimistic. Oh, this is
I
interesting.
like this one.
The beginning is contentment, though.
It's
That's really
gratitude.
interesting. Yep, being
Gratitude or
grateful for
appreciation.
where you are, what you got, what's going on. All right. So yeah, where did you find this, Brad? Just in case somebody
Oh,
want to
I just
download it.
looked it up on Google.
Got you.
I
Okay.
looked up I think I looked up vibrational scale of consciousness, or like, yeah, something around that.
Got you. Okay. So yeah, y'all look this up if you need to put this on a vision board or on your wall, so you kind of know what's going on, where you at. If you're in some revenge, you're like trying to get in revenge, you're in a bad spot. You want to get out of that.
I think I
But
might
yeah.
print this out so I can like be able to point to things like whenever, because it's a lot better to just catch those feelings as soon as you like are not feeling well. Then it's like, oh look, this is where I am on this. How do I get to, you know, how do I switch my mindset and shift to a better vibration so I can feel better?
Man, and look at how far insecurity is.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious, dude. That's far down the list. I would have thought that would have been higher. That is really tripped out. That is really deep down the list, y'all. Watch out for that type of stuff. Fear, super far down there. victim mentality, unworthiness. Be careful with those feelings, y'all, because that's interesting. But as we were talking about this, there was something else that I wanted to go over too, and um, it was in relation to the past events that have been going on, and speaking of like the gratitude and the contentment and stuff like that, and really encompassing everything we've been talking about. I want to definitely show you guys, and I know you've probably seen it, but I just want to kind of draw some attention to it a little bit here, because it's something that we need to understand that's happening out here, right? This right here, y'all. More than This is just not too long ago. Obviously, this article is very recent, and so more than 5,600 displaced and 400,000 left without clean water, y'all. Now you think about how easy it is for us to get water. Come on now. This is part of what me and Prach would like to do, and we're doing our part on a small scale. But we actually would really want to do something way larger than this, and it's coming, because we're very passionate about helping each other and helping the earth, and just trying to create something better. So this type of stuff, y'all, should help you to get into that contentment range, right? You should be like, oh man, I'm so glad I don't have to go through these things right now, because this type of action, nobody, I mean, we barely want to get up and do work, right? It's like, but imagine being forced into this type of stuff, man. That's where it's like you gotta kind of put yourself in that that gratitude and contentment space, so that you can realize these things are actually happening. It's actually happening in life. Did you have anything, Prach? I'm kind of going on a tangent here.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, I'll just add on to what you're saying. Especially like if you live in the United States, like we're still the global capital of the world. Like people are still like very much dependent on us, and I think that like a lot of change has to happen here. And I believe that it will. I truly believe that it will, especially like just the other day, people in Kansas decided to vote on an amendment, and they decided to vote for human rights. And it was just a huge turnaround, and it was surprising to people because that's not usually how they expect the voters to vote. But I think that a lot of people are becoming more aware of these things and realizing that what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. What we're putting out into the world, and it's eventually going to come back to us. And so it's not. I really hope that that didn't come off in terms of like, in terms of like a like scaring people, but it's just kind of like the truth. Like whatever you are admitting and whatever you are feeling about the world, and like whatever we're talking about your life, talking about yourself, like that's how your reality is going to be perceived, because still everyone's reality is always going to be different. So I think it is also like important to recognize that like just living in this country, we do have a lot more opportunities than a lot of other people do.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, this is just the type of stuff that we want to draw attention to. And then lastly, um, we'll kind of cover, which is along the same lines. I see you got here. Don't fight hate with hate.
Oh yeah.
Like, what's your take on that?
I've had a lot of personal experience with this,
Okay.
and like it kind of like played a bunch of mind games with me until I finally like snapped out of it, and I was like, um, it's really easy to like jump to mental conclusions when you're encountered with someone that has a different belief than you, because every single person's belief is completely different.
Hmm.
Like your beliefs are different than mine. Like everyone's beliefs are completely different. Even if like there's a lot of similarities that people share, like no single person is the same. Um, so it's very easy, especially in this day and age, to just jump to conclusions about people. And I admit I haven't been the best about it in the past, but committed to making sure that I'm loving myself and I'm taking care of myself so that I never bring that out onto someone else, because there are some people that you just kind of have to ignore and shut out from your reality, and there
Yeah.
are some people that are, you know, kind of like they have like a rope attached to them, like you can kind of like talk to them, like say some things to them, and you know, people can come around, and it's actually very possible for that to happen. So um especially like this whole like infighting is actually very, it's helpful to the people that are trying to keep the world the way it is to the very powerful people that are trying to keep the world the way it is, and it's harmful to all of us, the 99% of people that are trying to make the world better. It's basically just like, I'm trying to get to the point of like, if you ever think about like, you know, like getting food on the table, paying rent, or like paying for our basic necessities, then we're all in the same, we're all in the same game. We're all
Mhm.
like, we don't have to be threatened by anyone below us. We don't have to be threatened by anyone who appears to be above us. Like we're all still in the same situation. Although um, there are like realistic like differences in situations, but you just have to like kind of recognize that like everyone is in the same boat. We're all still in the same boat, and um, you have to, like, if you can, then you have to end up being the bigger person. Sometimes you gotta hold your tongue. Sometimes you have to, I think the biggest thing, especially for me, that I could do is listen more and talk less, because when you listen more you get to a better understanding of the other person. How did they come to their conclusions? Maybe you can get them to question, like, okay, like, why did you come to that conclusion? So I think asking why is very important. But yeah, I think there would be a lot more social harmony if we were able to look past those things, and to a reasonable extent. Obviously, never putting ourselves in dangerous situations, but um, just try to be nice to yourself so that you're able to be nice to others. That's the whole thing about love yourself, love others, and love the planet.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
we
And
are
I,
trying to save the planet for everyone. So it's like it's
right.
not like we can just exclude a group of people from that. So
Right.
definitely avoiding stereotyping people based off of one opinion or one belief, and seeing humans as humans.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. And I mean, yeah, there's not even a whole lot to say after that. I really appreciate how you kind of wrap that up. You know, it's really important for us to really think about that, because we all sometimes get in that payback mode. You know what I mean? And um, the man, the being the bigger person. Goodness gracious. Yes, you will get tired of it. Yes, yes, you will get tired of it. But if not you, they're not gonna do it. And it's something that I'm really learning to embrace and accept, because the expectation of, hey, just, you know, just take this one for me, like just you be the bigger person this time, I'm not gonna be the bigger person this time. It's not even a, it's not even a good way to go into it, because most cases they're not set up the way you are to be able to be the bigger person. Like this is kind of why I created the last Instagram post, the real idea, because it's like it's you. It's you, and you feel that way, and you know that you can be the bigger person. And sometimes it doesn't feel fair, but it's like, but I mean, I don't know. The superheroes that I talk about all the time, a lot of them sometimes, did they want to get those powers necessarily? It's like, I don't know. Probably sometimes in some cases it's like maybe not, but with that power that we have, knowing that we can be the bigger person, knowing that we have that ability, there's great responsibility behind it to just be like, all right, I gotta do it, and it sucks. But I'm gonna do this to make sure that we can achieve this harmony that we're looking for, this social harmony that we're looking for. Because if I don't do it, I know we're gonna go at it, and who wants that? And it's because it's not beneficial. It's not going in the direction that we're trying to go in. So really something to think about. That's definitely an active, consistent, ongoing, lifelong process, right? With everything that we have to work on, that's just something that we're never gonna totally alleviate out of our being until, I don't know, everybody's floating on rainbows or something. So we'll see when that time happens. But did you have anything else, Prash, that you wanted to cover, or was that pretty
I
good?
know. I'll just add on to what you were saying. It's, it does suck in the moment sometimes, but we know that eventually, little by little, that will pay off. And the more of us that are doing it, the more harmony we can have and the better a world we can create.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, y'all. I'm really excited for the new members of the Institute. Open enrollment is going to be at the end of this month. If you're looking to get in, definitely always look out for this show. It's going to be on Thursdays. So if you are looking for Kevin Prach on Earth, it'll be uploaded Thursdays. And oh yeah, go get some gear. The mindsetmattersmore.store. Go get some gear. Prach has on it. Dude, that's a great color on you too.
Thank
I
you.
did a good job with that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm like, man, because it's like it just complements your skin really good. It's interesting. It's a great contrast. But yeah, yeah. So got some tank tops on there for the ladies, y'all. Check it out. But yeah, other than that, always remember that mindset matters more than anything else. All right. All right. So let's continue to focus on the good, y'all. Let's do the best we can to improve the earth situation and our own personal situations. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Love you guys. Kev and Prach on Earth out.